Yeah, we have that. Push the phone and put it down.
The question. Imagine we're looking.
All right. Alrighty.
Yes, you could do a test. Everyone should be able to hear.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Just
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Everybody's doing extremely well. You know. Okay, we come to another Rotary meeting, and this tapestry that we call the Bahamas is a wonderful place. We also always have visitors here. People love the Bahamas, you know, and I'm sure we can have a testimony before this thing out today. You know, people love the Bahamas. So we enjoy. I'll ask you to stand now as we return for Leah. Give us the grace and followed by the loyal toast.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians.
Oh, sound. No, it's not her.
Can you hear me?
Leah, you can just pause a minute. Be trying to get the sound.
Okay.
I don't think we have any right out. Put the sound because no, she isn't. But I don't think we have any right out. Put the sound on the one. Okay, let's see.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Okay, no.
It's remote for TV. That's remote for TV. That's remote for TV.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm just gonna make sure I mute.
No.
No, wait a minute.
No, she did. Okay, we gotta improvise. We gotta go.
Yeah,
We gotta fix it.
I didn't. How many participants you have virtual today?
Maxine, we can hear you.
Okay, we didn't get the sound for Leah, so we have to proceed. I'm sure y'all can hear us on the virtual line. The Rotary Grace. Lord, we look to thee for meaning and fulfillment to life. And thank thee for this fellowship. Bless now this meeting of Rotarians. Please raise your glasses if we give a toast to the loyal toast. To the King and the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
King and Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Thank you. You may be seated. Once again, we want to welcome you to this meeting, and we can hear our people now listening, but and also on Zoom, and also it's a hybrid club, so you know we improvise and make it happen. So I trust that everybody's feeling good, and the fact that you're here, that means you love Rotary. You love Rotary because it's always a sacrifice once a week. All right, but help me make welcome our Sergeant of Arms, Rotarian Bean, and he will do the introduction of visiting Rotarians and non-Rotarians and guests.
Thank you so much, Past President Stephen. What a joy and pleasure it is to again join us here in Rotary in person, and for those on Zoom. I mean, what a difference a week makes. Last week, could you remember how this room looked last week? Do you remember and recall how this room did look? I mean, it was Valentine-ish and red and white, and every single table in this room was filled. Could you believe that? 1 week later, and we have a different scenario. But anyway, nonetheless, we're just so happy that all of you are able to join us, whether in person or hybrid. And we always like to give an opportunity for our visiting Rotarians, whether in person or whether on Zoom, to, open up your mics and stand and just introduce yourself and let us know exactly which club you are associated with. So let's start in person, because we know a lovely lady, a lovely visiting Rotarian.
Did she come up?
So
So
come to the mic and introduce yourself. Let us know which Rotary Club you represent. Thanks so much.
Yes, thank you so much. I feel so welcome. My name is Nancy Prohaska, and I'm the current president of the North Cobb Rotary Club in a suburb just north of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm here on vacation, but I decided to give up part of my day. To be with you, to see how you do things, and it's been lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's go. Let's give it up for Nancy.
yeah,
President of Rotary Club, Paul. Very small. Which state is that in, Nancy? Oh, Georgia, right there. A lot of Georgia on my mind. What a wonderful opportunity. Thank you so for joining us. On vacation, and you are Rotary at heart, Rotarian at heart. So we thank you so much.
there's someone online from the Sunset Club, and
Okay, we have someone from the Sunset Club online.
you go ahead and open their mic, introduce themselves.
Someone from the Sunset Club can open up your mic, introduce yourself, and so that we can officially and warmly welcome you to our Rotary Club here of Nassau. Do we have any other fellow Rotarians online who would wish to just open up their mics and just introduce themselves to us, please? Okay, if we have no other fellow Rotarians on the call and online who wishes to open their mics, we see one or two, but perhaps they're busy at work. Do we have any visitors of Rotarians on the line?
Yes, I'd like to introduce, this is past President Raquel Wallace. I'd like to introduce my guest. She's a prospective member, and she has visited at least 10 times so far. She's currently working on a service projects, Ms. Nikita Boleg.
Thank you again, Nikita. I mind you want to let us know what this 10 times visitation is all about.
Well, I have enjoyed all of the meetings so far, so that's why I am all excited. I was all excited to be on the meeting today. I just could not miss the meeting. I'm very happy to be hoping to be a perspective for your esteemed club.
Thank you so much. Your loyalty is going a long way in that regard, and I'm quite sure Rotarian Keno, charge of membership, is keenly aware, his eyes open, his head open, and he has put you down on the dotted line. He's going to come out for you. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate that so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Anyone else on the call? Any other visiting visitors on the call? Lady Maxine is at the controls. Anyone comes to mind? Lady Maxine, Rotarian Maxine.
Celine Foucault. I don't know if that's
Celine
Celine.
or Celine?
Foucault.
Well,
Hello, how are you doing? Thank you.
hi, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm still work, but I'm tuning in on the side. My name is Sydney Fouquet, a guest of Austin Meadows. He always posts regarding the group, and so I reached out to him in this regard to see if I could just pop in and see how things are.
Excellent. We're just so happy to have you chime in at this particular time, and I'm quite sure you will not be disappointed because we have a dynamic guest speaker today and who will enlighten all of us on some very crucial matters and topics that are currently in our country. Okay, anyone else, Rotarian Maxine? There's no one else, and so we all are home with our fellow Rotarians, and so we want to thank you. We want to welcome you once and welcome you twice, welcome you indeed to our Rotary Club of Nassau meeting. And now I'm going to call back to past President Stephen, who will navigate us through. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother Van. As always, We're moving quite along. I want you just to feel relaxed and enjoy yourself. If you haven't feel relaxed, and if you feel just look at me and you can feel relaxed, you know? Once you look at me, automatically relax. Relation takes place, right? But I'm gonna segue right here. I want to segue right here. And I can put on the spot, I call it the mother of Rotary. If you have the middle name is Rotary, our third name is Rotary. We have a wonderful audience, Rotarian, past president, Sheila, and some of the other ways. What's the thing? Rotary General Office. What's the all right? Sheila, I just need you to come here. We have a wonderful audience. We have some people here. And I need you to come here and say, why did you join Rotary and what you love about Rotary? That's it. I need a 30-second commercial. That's a 30-second commercial.
We all love you so. We love you so.
Oh, you.
Hi, everyone. I don't know why it keeps picking on me. Everybody should be sick of hearing me by now. Why did I join Rotary? I didn't want to join Rotary. Tony Wallace knows very well. He hauled me into the Rotary kicking and screaming, saying I don't join clubs. I don't like clubs. And that was kind of 20 years ago, I think. And I grew to love Rotary. As soon as we started having a lot of projects and things like that, and I was out there actually hands-on. So however you start in Rotary, you never know where you're going to end up. I was coordinator for public image for Zone 34, which is kind of quite a big area. And I love Rotary because, well, one, I've met most of my friends through Rotary. Fellowship is what Rotary is all about. And secondly, you're helping other people as well, wherever you can. So Rotary is awesome. I now love it. I don't hate it anymore. Thank you.
All right. Let's give the face of Rotary Sheila another hand. I feel good about it. You know, so sometimes, you know, the impromptu is good. If you're in this organization, you shouldn't even have to sleep or think or blink when someone asks you why you joined Rotary. I should have people line up now who want to speak and say, PP, Stephen, you forget about me. All right? But can I can catch you for next time? All right? I know you're anxious to go. You have a burning desire to speak. Okay, so we're looking good. Right now, we'll have an update from the secretary. The secretary's up with Falia. But Falia, saying that we missed you earlier, you must tell us why you are in Rotary. And if you have to tell somebody to join, what would you tell them? That's before you give the secretary's report. Let's go. Falia, you on?
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I am in Rotary because I love serving people. I love helping people as best as I can. And the advice I'd give anyone to join is have a heart, have a helping hand, and help those in need.
Nah. I don't think so. I feel like you could do better with the man.
Pardon?
Who's that?
Who's that?
Falia, we can hardly hear you.
Can you hear me?
No.
It muted. Someone named Fred. Go ahead, Falia.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so with the secretary's update, the secretary update is we're still requesting and reminding members for donors for the primary school student of the year foundation. And that's it for secretary update. Sorry, trying to keep my eye on the road.
Stop driving and talking, young lady.
Let me find it. I'm trying to find them. 1 second, I will.
Okay, thank you for the update. I'm Rotarian Falia. Right now, this gentleman, it's my esteemed pleasure to call this gentleman. I call him the paragon of excellence. He's just a well-loved person. He has this energy, I don't know where he get it from. He has this missionary zeal and vitality. All right? And he's well-loved by everybody who come in contact with him. Help me make welcome our membership chair, who will give us an update and who will inspire you to be in Rotarian Kino. You. Hey, everybody. Hi. How y'all doing today? Everybody's good? It's good to be here today. And of course, Nikita, let me start with you. After 3 meetings, you're supposed to be interviewed to join this great Rotary Club, but you've been in for 10. So expect a call this week for us to have a meeting with you. We will do our initial interview with you, and then we'll go from there. So Nikita, we look forward to you joining this wonderful club called Rotary Club of Nassau. Well, everyone, we have lots to celebrate today. I'm going to go very, very quickly. We're going to start with the birthday song today. Let's start off with Dr. Anita. Can we start with Dr. Anita? Is she on today? There she is, Doc. Happy birthday, Doc. Now, you're not here to dance, so you have to turn on your video, and we have to see you dancing in video, Doc. Come on, Dr. Anita, where are you? Can I see you? There she is.
I'm in my office, all I can do is this.
Happy birthday, Doc. Come on, do the dance first, Doc. Come on. Happy birthday to you. Sheila, help me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Our visitor wants to know what that song. We normally have jungle drums and everything. Sheila beat the table while we are singing. So seeing if we didn't have our table beating this afternoon, Doc, we hope you have a wonderful birthday in the month of love. And of course, we are celebrating Rotarians who are celebrating their anniversaries. We're going to start with Robin. I think Robin, where's Robin? Robin, is Robin on? There Robin is. Robin, 22 years.
I'm here.
Wow. Hi, Robin, 22 years as a Rotarian. Robin, could you come on your camera and say hello to everyone? And the reason you joined 22 years ago, Robin, while you're still here. And you're still in. Go on, Robin.
Still here.
What's the reason why you joined Rotary, Robin?
Sorry? Say again.
What's the reason why you joined Rotary and why are you still in it after 22 years?
I'd wanted to join Rotary before I retired, but pressures of work really prevented that. When I came here, when I retired here, I thought, well, this is my opportunity and to give something back. And so that's why I joined Rotary, particularly this club, I think.
Thank you very much. Out of the 22 years, of course, this year, Rotary Club of Nassau celebrated 61 years. The oldest club in the Bahamas, the original club in the Bahamas, and that's just for our guests. And Robin has been a part of us for 22 of those 61 years. Thank you so much, Robin, for giving and sharing.
Thank you.
But then he saw the light and he came to the truth. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Sure. He came to the truth and he came to the Rotary Club of Nassau. Rashan, is Rashan on? Rashan. Is Rashan there? Rashan. Check see if Rashan is on. Rashan has been a part of this club for 25 years. And also Anita, who's celebrating her birthday. She's been a part of, Rashan has been a part of it for 3 years. Rashan, 3 years. Dr. Anita, 3 years. Rakibia has been a part for 2 years. And if any of those persons are on, please call on your video so that we can see what you look like. Rudolph has been a part of the club for 2 years. Wayne has been a part, our wonderful, illustrious Sergeant at Arms has been a part for 2 years. And there's some kid out there called Kino I understand he's been a part of this club for 2 years. I don't know who let him in. I don't know if he's gonna stay in. I don't know if he's allowed to remain in. But there's one thing I really truly enjoy, the fact of the camaraderie, the fact that everyone in this club is willing to give of themselves to build our community. And that's what I absolutely love. And the last thing I want to say that I love the fact that we have a good cadre of people, different generations. That's why I celebrate the golden table. There you go. You're part of the golden table. All right. You're even joining the golden table today. So those persons who have been in Rotary 20+ years, they are so willing to share with the younger Rotarians. I really appreciate that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Enjoy your meal. I'm looking forward to our speaker today. Okay. Look, sounds good. Sounds good on the road. It sounds like we're having a nice little entertainment session, but it's a nice Rotary meeting. Enjoying ourselves. Okay, look to the persons next to you. Just tell them something nice. Tell them something nice. Love you, Nina. Thanks. All right? And I know when you're speaking the truth. Love you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I'm
Okay.
quiet.
All right, you heard some, okay. You heard some wonderful things. That's good. Okay, that sounds exciting. Tell them something nice. Sorry for you persons on Zoom who's not able to be here, but I hope to see you at the next meeting. Everybody I see on Zoom, I want to see you in person on the next meeting. At the next meeting. All right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, everybody talking about why they join Rotary. I love Rotary. This inexhaustible love I have for people costs me to want to help, costs me want to do something. But you know, it'll be remiss of me if I say, who show me the light, you know? There's a lady, I believe she sits in the room, right? And I believe she has this deep inspiration to help and to identify good talent. She knows when she sees good talent. So she has been one of Rotary's recruiting officers.
See that?
And she couldn't resist when she saw the one fellow named Stephen D. She said, that he needs to come in the club to make the club complete.
Then he comes to me and said, let's leave the club. And I had to pull
Keep all the dirty laundry she aired.
So, because of my love for country, let me segue. Because my love for country, you know, like sometimes the Army calls you off. Yeah. All right, to go to Iraq and different places. I was called to serve the country and country about self. And Rotary. And, after I had finished my stints where I had to go, I came back home. And thank you, Sheila. I always want to use this opportunity to appreciate Sheila. You know, she caused me to be here where I'm at today. So I want to thank you. Let's give her a hand. Excellent. If I can give all y'all one, then the next meeting, y'all get an opportunity to press the person who caused you to be here. All right?
Thank you. Sounds
This
good.
is the thing. All right?
It's fun for you.
Yes, thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on. We come to that important part, you know, at some places they say everything will die, but the speaker is the important part of the meeting. Help me make welcome Rotarian President-elect, our esteemed President-elect, Darren, to introduce our guest speaker. Darren's on, ready to go?
Yes. Thank you very much, Past President Stephen. It's certainly my pleasure this afternoon, and good afternoon to fellow Rotarians and guests. It's my privilege this afternoon to be able to introduce our speaker for this afternoon. Dr. Delano Roll is a Bahamian consulting and organizational psychologist who is making excellent strides in the mental health arena in the Bahamas. On a professional level, Dr. Roll holds a Doctor of Psychology degree in psychology, which he obtained from California Southern University located Costa Mesa, California. He is also a certified grief specialist, military clinical counselor, certified clinical trauma professional, and a certified organizational development coach. Dr. Roll also holds an advanced diploma in sports performance psychology from Ashworth College located Norcross, Georgia. Additionally, Dr. Roll is a member of the Bahamas Psychological Association and international affiliate member of the American Psychological Association. Dr. Roll is employed as a mental health consultant with Doctors Hospital Health System and the Bahamas Department of Corrections Services. He is also contracted as a private consultant for other companies where he is responsible for the mental health of their associates. Dr. Roll is a senior pastor at Action City Church and has served in this capacity for the past 11 years. As Rotary International recognizes February as Peace and Conflict Prevention Resolution Month, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Rotarians and guests, please join me in welcoming Dr. Delana Roll to discuss resolving conflict. Let's welcome him.
Pleasant good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And thank you so much for having me today as a speaker to this wonderful meeting. And I want to say thank you to the president, Chantal Nesbitt.
Yeah.
And all of the officers and all of the members of this wonderful club for allowing me this opportunity to be here with you today. It is a privilege. Today, I want to talk to you for just a few minutes about conflict resolution. And we realize that whenever we deal with people or whenever we associate with one another, we can't help but not discuss conflict, because wherever people are, whenever we are working together, there is always an opportunity that a conflict may arise. And so when a conflict arises, as individuals, we want to know how to go about dealing with conflict so that we can be able to move past it. So I want to spend the majority of my presentation talking to you about how we resolve conflict. But before we get to that part, I want to talk to you a little bit about what conflict resolution actually is. So conflict resolution is a process of ending a dispute and reaching an agreement that satisfies all parties involved. So basically, when we talk about conflict resolution, or in order for that to be a resolution, there has to be a conflict first. And the goal is to see how we can resolve that conflict with both parties being okay, being happy, and being ready to move past that particular instance, so as that will not affect their working relationship moving forward in the future as they deal with other projects. So when we talk about the benefits of this process, we talk about being able to solve our conflicts in a healthy way and in an effective manner, so we can have the wonderful benefits that are associated with it. So when we talk about the benefits of conflict resolution, there are three main ones that I want to bring to your attention. Three main advantages of resolving conflicts. The first is they allow us to build relationships. Sometimes there are some things about a person that you may not know, but the conflict, when it arises, affords you the opportunity to get to know a little bit more about that person. What are some of their likes? What are some of their dislikes? How do they think? Are they analytical or are they not? You know, how expansive their mind is and all of the like. So we want to make sure that at the end of the conflict that we are able to enhance and strengthen relationships. A lot of times, unfortunately, the consequence of conflicts, result in people going their separate ways and, an issue not really being resolved and parties breaking up friendships and disconnection of associations. But at the end of conflicts, if they are done or resolved effectively, a relationship should be birthed or even enhanced as a result. Also, as a result of conflict resolution, we find that we are able to achieve our goals. Because while there are issues that arise in the sphere of that conflict, we would also be able to discover goals that need to be achieved in order to help us to move past whatever is creating the problem or challenge for us. So we are able to achieve those goals effectively. And then thirdly, we'll be able to generate new insights. Often we have to remind ourselves that there are many different ways to look at a problem or a situation. There are many different alternatives. There are many different ways. If I ask some of you right now, how do you prepare your rice? Some of you will give me one type of way. Others of you will give me a different way. Someone may even give it another way. So there are different ways to do things. And so we are able to learn new ideas, and we're able to have new insight with regards to things that we want to accomplish or achieve moving forward. So considering that conflict is, it creates an opportunity for us to be able to build relationships, achieve our goals, and generate new insights. We now want to move to how are we to resolve them. Because I do believe that all of us here at some point or another may have been in a conflict of some sort or on some level, whether it was within our families or within our work environments or with whatever associations we have. At some point, we all had a conflict that we had to deal with. So I'm not going to spend so much time talking about what a conflict is any further. I want to help us to understand how to resolve them so that once we leave here, we would be able to resolve all conflicts effectively. So as we talk about the 7-step approach to resolving conflict, I want you to remember these 7 words: clarify, find, listen, investigate, determine, agree, and evaluate. Now, I don't know about you, but in order for me to remember things, I like to get them acronyms. You know, I like to kind of break it down a little bit. So CFLIDAE, right? And so once we're able to break it down like that, it helps us to be able to remember the steps that are involved in actually resolving conflict. So the goal now is to see how best we can utilize these steps in order to move past conflict. So let's take the first one, clarify. So we want to clarify what is the source of the conflict. We need to know what we are dealing with. A problem arises, God forbid, in Rotary or in your job or in your business, right? What are we actually dealing with? What is going on? Okay, so the first step in resolving this conflict is clarifying its source. Defining the cause of the conflict will enable you to understand how the issue came to grow in the first place. So what's causing this crisis? What's causing this conflict that we are dealing with right now, right? Additionally, you would be able to get both parties to consent to what the disagreement is. And so you would find that even in that first step, communication becomes very important. You have to want to resolve a conflict. Some people, believe it or not, they enjoy conflicts. Some people are okay with conflicts. They love creating them, right? But in order for us to be able to resolve, we have to be able to come to an agreement that we want to have it to be resolved. And in doing so, we're able to, first of all, clarify what is causing this problem for us, especially if it's something that's always happening, has to have a source. The second thing that we want to do, find a safe and private place to talk. This is very important. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but based on the nature of a conversation, you find that sometimes a person will say, well, let's go to lunch, or let's go for coffee, pulling you out of that environment where the problem may have been originated. It also helps mentally and physiologically, helps you now to reset and put things in better perspective. So you want to have a constructive conversation. You need to find an environment that is safe for you to talk. Such a place also enables you to take the necessary risk for honest communication regarding the issue. Some environments, believe it or not, can be intimidating. Some persons may not feel free and comfortable voicing their true concerns based on the nature of the environment and where the conversation is taking place. So sometimes in order to bring a person into a better physiological state, you would want to bring them in a different environment, especially if it's a conflict that's happened, let's just say on your job, you know, or in some business environment. Sometimes the environment itself can become a hurdle with regards to resolving those conflicts. Also, research has shown that when conflicts arise, if the environment that you resolve them in is more in favor of one party, then that party will want to likely have their way. So it's almost like you play basketball, the team that's playing in their state or their city has home court advantage, right? Because there's a sense of entitlement. You know, this is my office, this is my company, I'm the manager here. And so sometimes the playing field is not as even to give the other person a fair opportunity to have their issues heard and resolved as well. So we want to be very careful for that. So when the conflict is on a certain level, you want to definitely find a safe space where both parties can feel comfortable being transparent in resolving those issues. Number 3, you want to listen. listening is very important. And most times, you know, studies has also shown that when people are arguing or they are in a heated argument, persons are arguing to be heard and understood. A lot of arguments happen because individuals feel as if there's this perception that what they are saying is not being heard and understood. So we want to ensure that we are exercising good active listening while we're resolving conflicts. After getting both parties to meet in a secure and safe place, so we're now out to lunch, or we're now out for coffee, we're resolving this conflict. That's number 3. Okay, we are in the safe space. So now we want to let each individual have an opportunity to air out their views and perceptions regarding the issue at hand. You know, what is your view? What is your perception? What is your perspective? And while an individual is speaking, you want to ensure that you are allowing them to speak and not interrupting them, because you can actually miss what they are saying, or you can also cause them to lose their train of thought. A good practice is to make notes while a person is speaking so that you can allow them to continue speaking, and then you would have a basis to actually, you know, to respond when it's your time to speak. So active listening is very, very important when it comes to that. You want to give each party equal time to express their thoughts and concerns without favoring the other. Now, this is especially the case when you are acting as a mediator, because some of you may be managers or leaders in environments or organizations. At some point, you may be called on to mediate or be the middle person between two parties. You want to always ensure that you give both parties as equal opportunity to speak and voice their concerns. So if you give party A 5 minutes, you need to give party B 5 minutes as well. You want to always ensure that there is fairness and transparency straight across the board when you're managing a conflict. Believe it or not, if we fail to do that, we can actually cause an individual to lose interest in actually wanting to resolve that conflict. So again, you want to clarify, you want to find, you want to listen. And then number 4, we want to investigate the situation, right? So after listening to the concerns of both parties, you want to take time and investigate the case. Do not prejudge or come up with a final verdict on the basis that you have. Dig deeper and find out more about the happenings involved in both parties, the issue, and how people are feeling. You always want to know that. You want to look at the situation, and that's why it's also important that we don't feel it's necessary to have to resolve a conflict in one sitting. Some situations may require a series of in order to resolve a conflict. Mediation, some standard mediations can take up to 4 to 6 meetings to actually come up with workable solutions that both parties can agree to, that they will work toward. So you want to really drill down into the situation, and you really want to look at the situation from a non-judgmental perspective in order to have an idea as to exactly what is involved and what's really happening. Number 5, after you've investigated, now it's time to determine. You want to determine ways to meet the common goal, okay? How can we accomplish the common goal? So after clarifying the source of the conflict, okay, talking to both parties and investigating the situation, you need to sit down with both parties and discuss the common ways you can execute to meet the common goal. Believe it or not, whenever something happens or a conflict arises, both parties, party A and party B, already has in their mind what needs to be done in order to resolve the problem. But it's now an opportunity for us to determine, you know, what are some of the common themes that you view as a way to solve the problem? What are the common themes that I view that can help to solve the problem and bring them together to some agreeable term, right? So we want to be able to discuss the common ways that we can execute to meet the common goals, which is managing and resolving the matter at hand. So we want to be able to determine, well, Jane, how do you feel we can do this? And just make a list. Okay, Paul or Mary, how do you feel? What is your opinion on doing this? And you just pull those common themes together into one bucket list that both parties will be satisfied with, that they will agree with, that they can actually settle on. And then number 6, and I said it just now, it's time to agree. So we've already identified what are those common themes that we can put into one bucket list that can help us to form our action item list. And now it's time for us to agree on the best solution and determine the responsibilities that each party has in the resolution. So both parties are as equally responsible in ensuring that the resolution that you have came up with is properly and effectively executed. Both parties are responsible. After investigating the situation and determining ways to which you can resolve the issue, both parties now need to develop a conclusion on the best solution for this problem and to agree on the best way you need, and to agree on the best, you need to identify the solutions, which party can live with. So both parties have to live with this. So don't say or recommend something that's because it sounds good. Always ensure that you agree to stuff that you know that you're settled with, that you can live with, that's fair to you, and that you feel as if it would not be a big struggle to walk through. It's very important that you be honest with yourself and only agree to those items that you know within yourself you are okay with. So it's time to agree. And then after we've agreed on them and we action them, it's time to evaluate. We need to know if what we are saying is working. You know, the action item list that we've pulled, that we've created, that we've both agreed on, how effective is it? Has this problem been resolved, or is this problem still ongoing? You want to ensure that you're monitoring and you're evaluating the progress of it very often. Never presume that the issue is resolved. So continue keeping an eye on the issue and assess if the solution is effective. If the issue resurfaces, then take the necessary action. And oftentimes the necessary action, if it resurfaces, is to tweak the list and to tweak the agreed action items to ensure that both parties were actually doing what we said that we would do. Most times when there's an issue that comes after we've agreed or settled on an issue, it's because maybe one party was not consistent with the agreed upon terms, or some other component that we may have missed during the negotiation phase has now surfaced, and it's time to deal with it. But in order to deal with that, we have to address it and follow up regularly. So again, you want to clarify 7 ways to deal with problems. Clarify what is the source of the conflict. What do we have going on here? 2, find a safe and private place to talk. 3, listen actively and let everyone have their say. 4, investigate the situation. 5, determine ways to meet the common goal. What is the common goal and how do we meet it? Number 6, we agree on the best solutions and determine the responsibilities of each party. 7, we evaluate our progress. And once we've done, ladies and gentlemen, we would have successfully resolved conflicts. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Oh man, I just get warm up. I thought you just get warm up. Great. Okay, so I'm sure you'll have your imaginations have been stimulated and your curiosity has been fulfilled based on what was said. At this point in time, we'll ask questions. We have a presenter. We'll ask the presenter. So, do you have any questions for the presenter?
I have a question. Good afternoon.
Go ahead, sorry.
Sure. So my question would, through your expertise, what is, I guess, based on your acronym, what is one of the main challenges you see people, I guess, based on that acronym, what they cannot do? Have you seen where active listening is number 1? Have you seen where the lack of communication is number 1? What have you seen, and how do you communicate to them with how can they, I guess, make it better or change it or what have you?
Well, based on what I've seen, I've done quite a number of mediations in companies involving leadership. Based on what I've seen is one of the most pressing challenges is actually an individual actually agreeing that there is a challenge. Sometimes persons, are not as honest and as open to really confront a problem, because a lot of times persons think that if they are seemingly want to resolve a problem or to resolve a conflict or confront something, that they are the problem, or they're the issue, or they're the complainer in the room, or they are the person who has the big issue. And so there are a lot of persons that are sometimes very reluctant to actually, come forward and say that there's a problem. There would be telltale signs in their environment that something is not working well, something is not right, but they are very reluctant to actually have that open and honest dialogue for fear of victimization or being stereotyped. And so getting them to actually do the first step to clarify, that what is the problem and to admit that there is a problem can sometimes be a challenge. That's where it starts. So I would say that it starts most times at the front door, and that's where the most challenges are when it comes to resolving conflict. Once we are prepared to admit that there's a problem and we are prepared to work through them, we'll work through them successfully and effectively. But I found that a lot of people just don't like trouble. And so we tend to avoid it, we run from it. But I always tell people, in order to go from conflict to resolution, there must be confrontation. So what we don't want to confront, we are not prepared to manage. We have to be able to confront things in order to resolve them. Yes, sir.
Dr. Roll, thank you for the presentation.
Yes.
I hope it's not a controversial question. It's a genuine question. I'm thinking that your presentation is directed towards a manager who has dealing with employees or in an organizational situation. Have you noticed if there is any difference between the way women managers versus men managers deal with resolving conflicts, and is either one better than the other one?
Hold on. Without getting into trouble, I don't think that it's gender specific or it's gender, as much as some persons may want to argue or agree that it maybe is. For me, professionally, I don't see it as a gender related issue. It's just a matter of individuals basically having a level of understanding, first of all, to understand that it is important to resolve issues and how to resolve them effectively. Because I found that in leadership, a lot of people are very knowledgeable and skilled with regard to their job function and performance. But when it comes to dealing with problems, they were never really trained on how to resolve conflicts. So that's why you would find that sometimes their associates or employees that we sometimes don't deal with because they are producing well and they are achieving their goals, but they are very toxic and they're creating a problem in the environment, but they're hitting their sales targets, they're hitting their pitches. And so we tend not to want to bother these individuals or approach them with the other problems that they're causing. Because a lot of people, managers, men and women, we're not trained on how to interpersonally resolve and intervene on these type of matters. And so I really believe that in order for us to be able to resolve such matters, we have to agree that there is a problem and be prepared to actually work through it one step at a time. You're welcome.
Dr. Moore, one other question. What do you do in a case where one party doesn't want to come to the table and have a conversation?
Well,
repeat the question for those online.
The question online is, what do you do for persons online is what do you do when one person is not interested in rectifying the problem? Well, if one person is not interested in rectifying the problem, then you have another issue. Because now, if that person is a part or is involved in the conflict that is really taking place, and especially if they are a key player or stakeholder within that situation, then that person, you need that cooperation, because again, a conflict can only take place or occur if you have two or more people, right? Even though there's this notion that I can have self-conflict or be at war with myself, which in some cases is actually the truth, right? But when you talk about conflict relative to another person, you need the buy-in and the cooperation of that person in order to be able to come to the table and to resolve it. And so I would encourage that person to try, to have conversations with that person in order to, to determine their readiness or their willingness to resolve it. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes you have to use psychology, right? Sometimes, you have to, or you would want to, let's go for coffee, let's go for lunch, just to be able to get people out of an environment that may also be contributing to their unwillingness to resolve it. Sometimes persons don't resolve it because of the environment that they are, or the pressures they're in, or other factors. So if you can identify the why this person is not open, and you can be able to work it from that angle to get them to that place of readiness, then you could possibly get that person ready to face it. You're welcome.
Sorry. That's it, thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Online, we could share PowerPoint, is it something we could share? PowerPoint? Yes, no, maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I have a question, right? I have a question. Hang on.
Go ahead.
Let me clear my throat.
Go ahead.
Okay, I have a question. Yes, sir. We always hear, when I watch the news, I see the police always say that, we encourage these young men to resolve their conflict, and if they can resolve the conflict, we believe some things will stop happening, the violence will stop among young men along that line. I try to imagine, I know the environment some of these people are in. I wonder if that's something that they listening to, say, go resolve conflict. How they can resolve the conflict? Help me with that. Help me with that. Understand that piece of it, right? I hear you. Well, it's reasonable we could get someone to say, I know Martin and Wayne, you all go for coffee. Do you really think the guys out there, let's say in the gangs, they for coffee somewhere? No. So help me with that one.
So that's a really great question. Now, what we are doing here today, we are establishing healthy ways of resolving conflict. Those guys in the gangs, they are doing it the way that they know.
Yeah.
Based on their level of exposure, and based on their knowledge, their skill set, they're resolving it in their way. So even though for us it's problematic, to them they're resolving their conflict, right? So what we need to do is be able to teach and train them on how to do it effectively, because a lot of them did not have the opportunity to benefit from the training that they need to be able to do it the right way. So for them, they are doing it the right way because that's all they know. You know, the streets, violence, and all that stuff. So that's what they were exposed to. And also, if you do checks, you would find that a lot of guys who are in gangs were in gangs from they were very, very young. I've spoken to some persons who were in gangs when they were 8, 9 years old. Some young boys are smoking marijuana from 7, 8 years old, very, very young. And so from that age to adulthood, they are doing what they were trained how to, which is fight or resolve their conflict in that way. So if we can create programs or initiatives where we are able to train them and bring them in a different environment. Remember, we talked about, let's come out of the office. Let's take them out of their office, which is the street, and bring them in an environment where we can have this conversation and be able to teach them coping mechanism and coping skills. And also, I found that when we talk about gangs and violence, we find that influence also plays a great role in that. Guys on the streets that are part of gangs, they listen to persons who, in their opinion, has an influence on them. So how is about we get these people with this influence and start with them, right? Bring them in an environment where we are able to reculturalize them, and then they can help us to deal with their persons on the streets while we seek to help to curb the violence in the country. But it has to start somewhere.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for bringing it home, you know, but we need more time, because I need some counseling, some more advice how to deal with these gangs and on the streets and along that line. Me and Maxine, not only me, all right? So thank you very much. But we'll call now Rotarian Darren to give the time to speak up.
He's still there.
Darren, still there?
Yes, thank you again, Vice President Stephen. I agree with you that, yes, more time is needed because the information shared by Dr. Roll has really been very informative to me. And given the current climate in our country, yes, I think so we've got to find a way to bring you back. But Dr. Roll, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. Your information that you provided has been very practical. And I think it goes beyond just our club, but really as a country, we need to be able to hear more from you and persons like yourself. So again, thank you very much. And I hope you will take our invitation in the very near future to come again and share with us, especially as how past President Stephen would have started to allude to the point in drawing the difference between, I suppose, a professional environment versus sitting under the tree slamming dominoes and drinking a liquor or two, how we resolve conflicts like that. But thank you again for coming and sharing with us.
Okay, thank you. That's good speaker.
I'm not drinking a liquor too at work, just to clarify that, that's not.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. We have the speaker, if we ask you a few times minutes, afterwards we still pull on for a little while, we call it the parking lot. And that you're not outside, right? Right here, right? Because some people